Hello, everyone. Welcome to this unboxing. We were very, very fortunate this week to have a lot of really fun stuff happen. On Tuesday, we got our first production copy of All Things Mythic Mischief. On Tuesday as well, it's an exciting Tuesday, we got the news that Veiled Fate was shipping to backers. So it has been just a ginormous week, which is why I'm a day late in posting this update. I apologize. Also, it is April Fool's Day, so be careful what you read on the internet. I will say that everything in this video is true, to the best of my knowledge. There may be other things in the update, who knows, but everything in this video is true. We didn't make a fake version of Mythic Mischief to show you. Speaking of, I'm just going to get in and do a little unboxing for you. I figured this would be better than photos, especially since our studio is being worked on right now, so it was not easy to take amazing photos. And I was like, it's sometimes better to see things in video anyways. So first, there are two versions of the game. There is the base pledge, which was called the Professor Pledge, and then there was the Headmaster Pledge. I have boxes for each of those to show you. So this is the Professor Pledge. Oh, it's kind of hard to lift. And this is the Headmaster Pledge. So right away, you'll see a small size difference. And by small, I mean actually quite large. The Headmaster Pledge is a lot larger. Basically the same internals, and I'm mostly just going to focus on the Headmaster Pledge today. But the Headmaster Pledge has 7 factions in it, and this one has 4. Headmaster Pledge has 2 copies, or 2 sets of the library components, and the Professor Pledge has 1 set. So pretty similar on the inside of that. So yeah, let's go ahead and dig in right away. There is a good amount of spot UV goodness on there, which I'm trying to capture the light to show you. And that continues on the sides as well. And then I'll give you a quick look at the back of the box. Oh, that's upside down, Austin. Apparently I put this back backwards. But there's the back of the box for you as well. All right, let's get this lid off. All right, I'm going to take some of the stuff out. So first we've got on top, our faction boards. So each faction has a board. That is going to be how you track your remaining number of actions and know what they can do. And they all have lovely on-brand colors back there. So zombies, let's use them since they're my favorite. There is spot UV on these boards as well. Let's see if I can capture some of that. It's a little hard just because this light's a little bit bright. Should have turned it down a little bit. But and then these are, of course, dual layered as well. So those will hold the dice to track very nicely there. Yeah, each of those has a layer of spot UV on the symbology. Ooh, how do I catch that? There we go. Perfect. Cool. That includes the ghosts, which I got to see if I have the glow in the dark ghosts here or not. I think Zach might have them, but I might have a set. But yeah, that is the player boards. Those sit on top along with the rules. If you got the Headmaster Pledge, you're going to have the rule book, which is the same exact rule book as what is in the base pledge, but then you'll also get the expansion ones as well. Then, for the first time you unpack it, you will be getting basically this, which is all of the cardboard components, like the abilities for some of the factions. Like this is the Frankenstein's Trap and the Zombies Decay and the Wizard's Portals. But then you'll also have the standard board materials like Clutter, like this, and then the Destination tokens, and then the Vampire's Blood tokens. And the library components, because there's 2 sets of library components in the Headmaster Pledge, has a second one of these boards that's just a little smaller. It only has the 4 clutter and the 3 more destination tokens. Because if you're playing Blitz with 2 boards or playing just 2 games, you'll need those extra components. All right. Now I'll show you kind of where we're starting from here. The player boards are up here, rule books are on here, and then covered by the pop-out components. So once you take the library boards off, give you a quick look at one of these. Got some minimal spot UV on there on the crest, and then also on the score. Maybe on the score toads. There we go. And those boards fold up nicely into a small storable way, and then there's a crest on the back of that. All right. Cool. All right, so this is where we get into the actual tray itself. So right away, you will see that there is the faction trays here, and then storage for components up here. So we've got two Tome Keepers. That's just in the Headmaster Pledge. The base pledge comes with one Tome Keeper. They're a little purpley. I do not think yours will be this purpley. We are adjusting that slightly, and so we've already been talking to them about that. But these samples were purpley, so I'm just gonna have to sell this on eBay in like a year and be like, exclusive purple Tome Keeper. Just kidding, boss. I'm not doing that. And so they have their own slots there, and then we have library components. I'm popped the first set already, and then there are the bookshelves. The bookshelves are going to be obviously on the board, and you're going to be moving those around as a part of your abilities with each of your factions. But the real star here is the faction trays. So I'm going to use the Franks. So I really like just how all the factions have their own little tray with their 3 minis, and then all of their storage for their tomes, their dice, which we don't roll, we just use to track actions, and then also their special tokens. So let's go back to that popped board here and pop out their trap token, just so I can show you that will go down in there with that stuff. And then we will pop that back on there, and we're good to go. That is an example of one of the faction trays. So this is the Frankenstein's faction tray, and if you're playing, you just pull this out, and you have all the components that you need just right away. You can pass it around the table, which I really love, because in our prototypes, which didn't have inserts, that was the hardest thing. It's like, hey, you have any green tomes over there? Cool, I'm missing 5. I have no idea where they are, and now you just pass the entire tray to people, which is great. Below the first layer is an additional layer of faction trays. So we've got the vampires, the wizards, and the ghosts. Plastic colors, some of them are still in adjustment. So for instance, the wizards here are a little bit too pink, so they're being moved more purple. So you'll see some things. Don't worry, we're working on balancing the colors still. But overall, we're extremely happy with this sample. So very, very pumped about it. These are the non-glow-in-the-dark ghosts. Those are just red. I'll show you. I think I have glow-in-the-dark ghosts here, and I'll show you those in a second. And then under here is a space for cards. So you can see if you sleeve, you'll be double stacking cards. If you don't sleeve, they'll fit in one section here. But if you do sleeve, you'll just have to do a stack and a sideways stack as well. And there's a slot for that. If you don't sleeve, you can take your library components that I had stored up here at the start. You can store those down here if you do not sleeve. So it just depends on how you want to do that. They're a little bit more contained down there. Cool. All right. So if you got the Professor Pledge but added expansions, you'd be getting smaller boxes like these. And this is how retail these factions will be sold in the future. Unless we do another really, really big box in the future. But most people will be buying these like this from now on. So let's open up the ghosts. These have been in a dark box. They are glow in the dark. I doubt they are glowing in the dark right now. To get the glow in the dark to work, they have to absorb light, right? But I am just really excited that we went glow in the dark for the reason alone that they are translucent and they look just more ghosty to me. And I'm really, really happy with how the color turned out. I love these. That it fits the faction really, really well. I think you'll be really, really happy that you went with glow in the dark if you did go with glow in the dark. So there's number 2. And number 3. Check it out. And then, don't drop it, Austin. And then we have their haunt token and their dice and their tomes down there. So yeah, that is what that looks like. And then there is inside here just a little tray stopper there so we can have that not bouncing around all the time. And we got a rule book and a board right there. So yeah, that all kind of fits nicely together there. And of course, we did some fun liner stuff, which I'm really happy with. Those are different colors depending on which faction and which edition you got of the game. So yeah, that is a quick look. I did check sleeves on the cards. It does fit sleeved if you do the switch. I don't have those right now. Zach has those, but I did check that, and I was happy about that. And then also, I have a playmat to share. So this is an example of the board that is obviously in a neoprene mat. We didn't wrap the edges. If you got our Moonrakers mats, we did wrap the edges on those. The reason we didn't on these is if you're playing a 2-board blitz, you need the boards to be jutting up against each other. And so if you bought 2 mats, these will be very, very close next to each other. Or you could even use a mat and a board if you wanted. So when they are next to each other, they work well together. But you have 2 boards if you have the Headmaster Pledge, so what do you need it for? I know we're going to be asked about this, so I'm just going to go ahead and show you. It almost fits in the box. And by almost, I mean you could make it fit. I don't know if I recommend that. It is just slightly too long. And you can see it kind of curling up at the edges. I do feel like if you stored it this way and then put a lot of stuff on top of that, it will end up causing the edge to deteriorate. But it is close enough that I feel like you could do it if you're careful. But I did warn you that the edges might deteriorate if you store a bunch of stuff on top of this and it starts creasing the board, the mat there. But overall, really, really happy with the play mat. I think it's a great addition to the game as well. All right, what else can I show you? I can show you some minis from some other factions. I've shown you the ghosts already. Let's do the witches. They seem to be a very popular faction. All right. Okay, so witches tray. And inside. Oh, this is actually the first time y'all will be seeing the upgraded bases. So before it would have just been them standing there. Now they have like a bubbling cauldron in this case. And then this one has like a broomy umbrella and some potions. And I'll hold that one still for a second longer so you can actually see it. Sorry, I'm not able to get too much closer than this. If I start moving it towards you, it'll get blurry. So not very helpful. But and then a staff for this one. All right. The minis, it's pretty easy to suss out which one goes where. You just, have to kind of finagle it a little bit. But you'll be like, yeah, that doesn't fit. I'll try the next one over. So I haven't really had any problem putting them back, which is nice. That goes in here. The trolls. The trolls are getting slightly darker. They're a little tan right now. Give you an example of the internal box covers changing colors there. Or box wrap liner. Box liner, I think is what that's actually called. But they, going a little grayer with these, a little darker, but overall super, super happy with how they turned out. These are our thespians. So we have a skull with a rose in its mouth there. Some of those like Shakespearean masks, like the hat. It's probably not even Shakespearean. Someone correct my culture, but the happy and sad masks there, and then a pile of roses here. And then they, of course, come with the troll bookshelf. Their faction has their own bookshelf that they can move around the board, and that fits neatly in with the rest of their components. Things come, well, if I don't flip it over, things come bagged. You don't need to keep them bagged. That's just an assembly thing. It makes it way easier for the team in assembly to put all the pieces in without them just going everywhere. So I instantly took things out of the bag when I used them. So, and everything fits really, really nicely, especially when those bags are out of here. All right. Very thankful for Game Trays. They did a wonderful job in putting all this together for us. I'm very, very happy with how the factions all nest together. And I'm going to show that one more time just because it turned out Turned out really well. I don't think it'll pass the tornado test like Moonrakers does, just because there's a lot of stuff going on. And if I flip that too much further, it'll start coming out. But yeah, really, really happy with how it's turned out so far. I don't want to make this video too long, so I'll say that it's getting closer. We're approving things, and those are going into final assembly. And yeah, it's happening, folks. We're cruising right now. Veiled Fate, if you bought that, is delivering. I'll give you all a sneak peek of that box. So there it is. I dropped something on this one. This is a sample, but this is the box here. Very happy with how that turned out. Yeah, that's delivering now. Wildly, they crowdfunded about a year apart, and they're going to deliver very, very close to each other comparatively. China was a mess last year, if you didn't know, and so getting things produced and shipped was really hard. Luckily, this year's been a lot smoother so far. So we're really, really blessed and pleased to have that be the case. Yeah, thanks for watching, and we'll see you very soon.